We're back, and this time we're mad. Welcome back to Do Ghosts Be Real. Nah, just kidding. We're not mad this week. We were mad last week. This week, we've got a good one for you guys.
I don't know if we were mad. We were just out of it. At least
Yeah,
I was just out
last
of it.
week just devolved into chaos midway through, and you know what? It was strictly a show for the fans.
It was definitely for the fans. You won't be seeing that one probably anywhere else but YouTube, because that one was a bit of a flaming dumpster. So
It was fun. I don't know if it'd be fun for other people.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, I think we need to change my nickname though to the goddamn steamroller.
yeah, you're definitely the steamroller that episode. But to be fair, I came back. You were a bit of a killdozer, and then I was some sort of highway equipment also. It was a clunk fest for sure. But we're hoping that this one's gonna be lots of fun for everybody. This week we are doing modes of contact and ghost hunting equipment, which should be fun. This should be fun for the whole family. A little bit for everyone.
A little bit for everyone. We got some technology stuff. I know Simon's all about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think we're all about that stuff. Like, that's really cool.
We love it.
Man, we also like crystals.
We like crystals.
Because I dived deep into crystals.
Like salt
Man,
crystals?
we love crystals. This is a throwback to last week when I was going through the contents of my desk, which is good, which is great content. Should we get back into that again?
Maybe we should get into ghost hunting.
Maybe we should.
Man, we could definitely get into ghost hunting.
Let's do it.
I guess. Well, before we get into ghost hunting, I guess. How have you guys been? It's been a damn week.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't really been a while. I mean, we did a week episode last week, but
we
how are
talked
you guys?
last week, and then we talked all the way through the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's okay.
Nothing much has really changed for me. Still living at home, still being a useless member of society. you know.
I feel that.
At least you work.
Yeah, it's kind of. I guess sometimes.
He does in fact work. I got a fucked up eyelid. I hope that everyone can see on the.
Yeah, what'd you do?
The 4K. No, this is sty, my dude.
What?
You ever had a sty before?
No.
No. Well, this is. I mean, for those who are not aware of styes, I don't know. I think it's like a clogged pore or something on one of my eyelashes. So now I have this weird Forrest Whitaker looking. I mean, it's not a lazy eye, but I kind of look whacked out. There's something wrong with me anyway. I'm wet. I look wet. I've got a really messed up eyelid. I'm fired up.
You're ready for the cast.
I'm ready for the cast.
You're wet and ready.
I guess, the one thing that we should advertise again is my Twitch channel.
Oh, should we? We should advertise your Twitch channel.
Yeah, I mean,
doing the plugs
only
early.
Sundays. I only want people to tune in Sundays.
No, I'm just pulling you. I'm yanking your chain.
The other days it's hardcore porn.
Yeah, the other days it's things that no one wants to watch,
Yeah.
and I honestly only stream Sundays.
But Sundays are family-friendly ghost hunting.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually,
we talk
not really.
about ghosts, and we have guests on who.
Not that family friendly, but
Yeah.
but it is lots of fun anyway.
It usually devolves into us having deep conversations that are not about ghosts. So.
yeah,
It's okay. I mean, same with the podcast. So
Yeah, yeah. So that username is Breddy600. So please give me a follow if you know what Twitch is. If you don't, it's not meant for you. It's okay.
okay.
Oh man, that's a divisive statement.
That's right.
Yeah, shout out to Eric Steiner, the Cable Casanova, for having us on Shaw TV also. So
We appreciate that.
thanks again, dude.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun,
Keep
man.
on rocking, baby.
Yeah.
But into ghost hunting. So
Yeah.
ghost hunting and ghost hunting equipment. Ghost hunting has been around for a long time. People have always had an interest in the paranormal and things that we can't see anyway.
I feel like there's legends going back a very long time. People have been looking for them a very long time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. I would say so. Yeah. It's pretty wacky. Like,
It is pretty. Ghost hunting is pretty wacky.
well, yeah,
It's very wacky.
Where it's come from? Because could you imagine like dudes in the 19th century wearing powdered wigs hunting for ghosts?
I don't know.
Like, they don't.
Man, I don't know how often people were actually wearing. Was that a thing that people just did, or is that really just a courthouse thing?
Yeah, it was
more
a courthouse thing. It was like a ceremonial, I don't know, like
But-
some sort of outfit that dictated your power structure.
You only
Yeah.
get the powdered wig out every once in a while.
Man, I might invest. Like as the people know, I might need to invest in.
Man, that's
Brett,
got a
if
good
you start
gleam
doing
to
the
it, though.
podcast in a powdered wig, I'm gonna be so happy.
That would be awesome.
so
We gotta
happy.
maybe for the Halloween
You
show,
know what?
Brett can
You know what,
get some
everybody?
hair.
We'll be starting our Patreon soon, so
Will we be?
Yeah,
we can get Brett some hair transplant.
Hey, I'm number 2 on that list.
So what we're doing is castle first, then hair transplants. We're going full Hollywood is what we're trying to
I
do.
like that,
Okay.
dude. We're going big first.
Can we
Man.
get some of those Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candles to light?
Yes, we need those for our table.
Why?
I don't know. While we're buying ridiculous things.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, we also need big Steve Harvey veneers, like those big.
Oh, I thought you were
motherfuckers.
going zoot suits. I want some of his suits.
Yeah,
dude.
we can.
I'm fine with my teeth, but I definitely want like a suit that involves suspenders. You know, but like not suspenders that are separate, ones that are like built in and gigantic, blocky yellow pants with like a super huge suit jacket.
You know what? For the Halloween episode, we should just get zoot suits.
Basically, I just want to look like the Mask.
Yeah,
is what I'm
that's-
saying.
That's
Okay.
what
Which
I,
is-
I can agree with that.
Steve Harvey throughout the entire 80s was just the Mask.
Steve Harvey currently is still the Mask. Look at his teeth.
I'm not entirely convinced that Steve Harvey's not like a Martian or something like
Yeah.
that.
He
He's-
might be a
he looks-
shapeshifter.
He looks way too wild. Just look at his face, dude. It kind of
Yeah.
he kind of looks like somebody wearing some sort of elaborate stunt makeup. He looks like he's wearing a bald cap or
He
something.
always looks smooth.
He looks
There is
My
no
boy is
wrinkle
smooth.
or crease to his face. It is just smoothness. And he's on 4K.
We just got.
We're on 4K. You can see every blemish on my body.
We just got to start going to the same like Hollywood doctor that Steve Harvey goes to, and we'll be looking smooth in no time.
Hear that? Patreon.com/DoGhostBeReal.
yeah, someday.
Support
Anyway.
us. Support us going
We
Hollywood.
got to buy some ghost hunting equipment. That
Yeah,
seems like a
that's
more
true.
reasonable thing.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, paranormal research and ghost hunting dates back to the 18th century, folks.
So long
That's
time.
that's kind of when things really started to take off, and not when things really. I mean, basically, what we're going to be talking about for the most part is kind of the stuff that happened in the, I guess, probably the late 19th century when spiritualism really started to take off.
Plus electronics were
into
a
the
thing.
20th century.
Yeah, plus like electronics were a
Yeah.
thing by that point, and we could get some actual.
And I guess up
Easy
until
ghost.
present day
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
19th through 21st century sort of stuff. So yeah,
Which is it's like pretty crazy to think about that. Like one guy that I did a little bit of research on is his name's Charles Fort, and he's kind of the most.
It's the father of ghost hunting.
Yeah, he's the father of modern ghost. Well, collecting ghost stories. So
okay.
what he would do
Okay.
is he would go around and collect various ghost stories from people. It's somewhere in the realm of 40,000 stories he
Whoa.
collected.
That's a lot of stories.
And
so
it
so when
it
did
wasn't
this guy?
just ghosts.
When did this guy live? What was he?
Oh, so he was kicking around from 1874 to 1932. So,
Okay, yeah.
it sounds like he wrote like 7 books, but only 4 survived.
Oh,
So the first one, so this is going to be a telling tale.
Sure.
The Book of the Damned.
okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He was a prolific
New
writer.
Land, one called Low and Wild Talents. He collected reports on things that include like teleportation,
Oh,
which
wow.
is very, very wacky.
That is pretty.
Well,
wacky.
this
Someone
was-
was pulling some legs back then
Like,
because we don't even have teleporting now.
Just getting into like all that sort of paranormal and like otherworldly tech sort of stuff was really big at that point
Yeah.
because like it's crazy the amount of worlds that overlap when you're talking about paranormal stuff, especially at this period. And you know, these names might not all line up, but like Thomas Edison, for instance, was actually quite interested in communicating with ghosts.
which I was very surprised to learn.
Yeah, he actually filed a patent for I think he filed a patent but didn't end up following through on it. He was under the impression that with the advent of radio and stuff like that, you could somehow or another find a way to break through
Right.
and communicate with spirits.
To a better term now is like we have spirit boxes, so that's kind of taking that
Yeah.
same idea
Yeah.
of radio waves and using that to.
I mean, isn't that
contact
kind of what he patented? Was like a,
I think that is ultimately,
probably
I think that
very
is
similar.
somewhat
Yeah.
probably what he was going for.
like an old school one.
Yeah.
Wh- Which is, it's crazy to think that some of the greatest minds in the world also big into ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
just saying, guys. I'm just saying.
What was like magicians, inventors, like Harry Houdini was really big into
Yeah.
this sort of stuff too, more from a skeptic kind of perspective. Like,
Yeah.
because when we were doing the Winchester House episode, like he went there and stayed there for the purpose of disproving the fact that there was any sort of paranormal activity going on there. I think he went there for a seance or something. That might be nonsense, but, it's widely reported anyway.
Okay.
There were a lot of people who kind of went around and did that at that point. Another guy who did that was a fellow named Harry Price, who was another kind of early, I guess, ghost hunter, another British guy, British researcher / parapsychologist, like our man Kerry Gaynor from that episode, from the Sally House episode.
I mean, maybe down the road, me too.
Yeah,
We'll
now
see.
you don't want to be a parapsychologist.
I can
Parapsychology is pseudoscience.
Exactly.
Man, you could be. It would be easier than going through to get the full degree.
That's right. I can just call myself a doctor.
Yeah.
No one, like a chiropractor, I can call myself a doctor.
Absolutely. Who's to say that you're not?
Yeah,
Dude? Who's going to tell you don't have a doctorate
You could
in
become
parapsychology?
you could become a parapsychologist tomorrow.
Man, I got the keys to the goddamn castle at that point.
Yeah. This guy went around and he had an interest in debunking people as well. And he went around and he debunked some famous spirit photographers who were kind of prominent at the time. And of course, one more, I guess, prominent group of people who were into paranormal research and ghost hunting back in America. Of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Of course, our good friends Ed and Lorraine.
Our
Our
good friends.
pals.
Yeah.
They always
Our
seem to come
pals
up.
and our friends.
They sure do.
Before we move on too much from them, another interesting fact about that Charles Fort fella is it wasn't just like ghost stories, right? He was collecting like crop circles. So even back then there was crop circles.
So he was
into everything, like broad spectrum, like UFOs, teleportation,
just like weird
spontaneous combustion, all sorts of that weird kind of, because I think when we talk about paranormal, everything kind of fits into
it's an umbrella.
It's an umbrella for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just ghosts and it's not just UFOs.
Yeah.
It's super
I know
interesting.
you're itching to do some alien shit.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to.
I would love to
My
do some
dad was
aliens.
actually today. There's a series on History Channel.
Okay.
That's about the Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, we got to watch that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Gary's been going hard. Into that.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about. The Skinwalker Ranch is crazy. We'll talk about it another time. I don't want to.
Yeah,
It is crazy. There's all kinds of weird paranormal stuff going on there.
That's probably the most, out of every, quote unquote haunted site that we've ever talked about, that's probably the one with the most evidence to be weird shit is happening.
The
here.
most evidence that we have no idea what's going on there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything else.
Yeah, basically just saying, we've seen stuff that's physically impossible and 40 people witnessed it and we don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I leave
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, they're trying to.
This is the devil's work. Leave.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh man, speaking of the devil's work, Ed Warren.
Yeah,
Self-taught
demonologist.
That's where I was
Our
going.
boy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a career apparently.
Wasn't he like a retired cop?
Yeah, he was a retired. I don't know if he was
demonologist?
retired or disgraced. I'm not really sure what exactly happened to them, but they were, this might be somewhat of an unpopular opinion in this particular sphere, but Ed and Lorraine Warren were almost without a doubt fraudsters.
Yeah, almost.
To a certain, I'm never gonna fully discredit them because they did do a lot of interesting.
They did a lot
cases.
of interesting stuff, and they collected all kinds of interesting
But
stuff. But there is straight up
There's
bullet
evidence
note.
of we talked
There's
about.
bullet in the head evidence that they were there were
Lying.
some things
there
that were
were
full on
some-
crockery.
They were
Yeah.
clowning around at some point.
They were trying to build a brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were definitely trying to build a brand.
Much like Do Ghosts Be Real, we're also trying to. Build
we
a
are
brand.
trying to build a brand.
Sounds
yeah,
like all that Ed and Lorraine Warren needed was a Patreon.
Yeah, that's right. That's
man, I
right.
bet they would have done great. I think there are 12 to 17 movies based on the shit that that they were involved with because of the, I guess, notable hauntings that they were involved in, there was the Amityville hauntings, of course, which,
Famous.
a whole bunch of different movies were inspired by that. There was The Haunting in Connecticut, of course, which a bunch of movies based on that, too.
And our friend Annabelle.
Yeah, and of course, the
our
Annabelle
favorite.
story, which there's no evidence that any of that ever happened. But
Yeah, no.
anyway, specifically, I guess their credibility has been widely questioned because the writer of the book about the Snedeker house that The Haunting in Connecticut is based off of reported that the whole story was concocted along with the family and the Warrens while drinking a bunch of wine. Ed Warren is quoted as telling the author, you've got some of the story, just use what works and make up the rest. Just make it up and make it scary.
Yeah, it was pretty damning.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you got to think, hey, maybe this guy isn't on the up and up, and maybe he wants money. But who am I to disparage a legend, right?
They're definitely legends. For
Yeah.
sure.
They are for sure.
Regardless of-
Whether you want to believe them or not.
Regardless of whether you believe them or not, we certainly have a lot of things to talk about thanks to them.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And
And tons of movies. Some of them great. Some of them.
they certainly had a huge impact on pop culture.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think, like, a big thing for me growing up is I used to watch. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the TV show. It used to be on A&E. It was called Paranormal State, and that was my first introduction to ghost hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. I've heard of that one. My favorite was just Ghost Hunters. Period, because that was A&E also.
Yeah, A&E for a hot minute had a stint of ghost
big
shows.
on ghost shows, and that kind of plays it directly into what we're talking about today.
For sure.
Because of course, ghost hunting in general existed for certain prior to the kind of, I guess, ghost TV show boom of the early 2000s.
Popularization of ghosts hunting.
But like it exploded in a big way once like Ghost Hunters and Paranormal State and all of the other, millions of shows that were on.
The one thing I will say with Paranormal State, at least they didn't try to like make up evidence.
Yeah.
Whenever I watched that one, I was like, okay.
I can't say I recall enough.
I've watched a lot of it, and I'm like, I never have seen any evidence leaning to anything being haunted other than this place is fucking creepy, regardless if it's haunted or not.
So did they? Yeah, I don't really have great recollection of that.
They always like, so their format was they'd do an initial walkthrough with the owner or whatever, and then they would. Oftentimes they would call in a medium or a psychic.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do, as everyone does in their ghost hunting shows.
Of course.
And then they would say some story and, oh, this place feels evil and blah, 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 and go on and on and on. Meanwhile, I'm just thinking, like, these guys are getting paid to just come in and spin a tale. Mm-hmm. Much like some of the research I did today. A lot of these mediums and psychics are hucksters.
It's kind of a lot of ghost hunting stuff altogether is a little bit on the suspect side, but it is fun.
The only thing I'm always confused about is, with the temperature drops.
Yeah.
How can you explain, like, within a minute the temperature dropping by 5 degrees? That's where I'm like, okay, well, I'm a little confused on that. Do I think it's a haunting? I don't know, but that's something like that where you can actively measure it is why I'm like, okay, that's a little weird.
That is interesting, but I mean, there are there's the potential for windows being open, doors being open, gusts and all kinds of shit. Places be breezy,
especially abandoned buildings.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I do think that of the various ghost hunting equipment that we looked into, I think infrared cameras are probably one of the more reliable.
There are some things about infrared cameras that are a little bit suspect. I was reading today about. I guess we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves, maybe, but. I was reading that heat stays in an area like considerably longer than you would expect.
Yeah.
Like especially like I think back to all the times I was watching Ghost Hunters in particular, and like when they would have like a humanoid kind of shape, like a heat signature on the infrared camera.
Right.
Usually they'd like cut away to it or something like that, and you'd see it and be like, this shape or something like that. But there is the potential that somebody may have been standing in that particular area for a prolonged amount of time, and then they moved out of that area, but that heat signature that they created is kind of still there.
Especially if they're like leaning against the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if it's just in the air, then as soon as you move, it's going to disperse. But if you're like lying on the floor,
there's certain materials that kind of retain it better.
So, now, I don't know how much you know about, like, because... As you know, I watch tons of ghost videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
See, the only ones that really confuse me is when they do the infrared thing. Mm-hmm. But they, like... Because a lot of the time, you can't get the footage from the infrared camera. So they have their camera recording the screen.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like the camera doesn't record. It just
so it's not like it's a jump cut to the camera.
Right.
So they don't even have... It's not like there's no recording medium.
Yeah, exactly. So
camera.
When I see that... and I see a shape, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more suspect.
That
like
is
that's not suspect, but that's a little bit more believable.
It does feel a little bit more
TV
believable.
shows where it's like, all right, like
for sure, yeah. When you can like actually pull media from the infrared camera, because if you've like got a camera trained on something and there's an there's a shape moving or something like that clearly in front of it, but there's nobody there, and you can see that from like the background of it, and you can see the viewfinder of the infrared camera. That would be tougher to fake for sure.
Now, what do you know about vector cameras?
I don't know what
I know
is that actually
cameras.
what they're called?
No, there's another camera, and it essentially like
it's the one that like picks up all kinds of...
It makes a stick figure. Like if you're standing
I know
there,
what
it
you're
makes a stick
about.
figure of you.
So vector cameras don't
hit me with it.
Vector cameras don't exist.
No?
That's what it comes down to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't have like a true vector image generated by a camera. It's just not mathematically possible. Like it doesn't when you're seeing
what the fuck are we referring to? Because
what
like
kind of
what we were
cameras are
watching,
those?
there are
it's
all
just
those.
it's just a regular camera with software to do to create that vectorized image where it's just an outline. Like if you saw a face, it would just be an outline and you'd see like your eyebrows and stuff. But it's just So that's being done with software. There's no like
that sucks.
Yeah, there's no camera
heavily faked
because like a vector implies motion.
Dude, we're idiots.
Yeah, we totally are.
Like when I was searching this, the only thing I could find for vector cameras were like speed traps, where it'll take images over time and it'll plot the vector of where you're going, and then take the time between two images to figure out how fast you're going. But like that image, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the Do Ghost Be Real logo on the computer. That's a vectorized drawing, but that was made on a computer, so you can have like a vector has like it's infinitely scalable.
Right.
But with an image, there just isn't enough data to create an infinitely scalable image. And vectors also imply like motion, so you would have to have like as something moves, it applies.
Are we talking about the same thing where there's like strange shapes and it's like plotting all kinds of stuff, like where there's like weird lines and stuff like that? Are we referring to the same thing?
I think so.
In these videos, that's what they refer them as. So that's why I'm calling it that. It could be called something completely different, and I could be out to lunch.
Okay, but
still, because I get what you're saying about like a vector image. And,
but like regardless, that would be super easy. Because
there's
fake
like
if it's
some
software,
some weird. There are like a few videos where there's like some weird camera that like plots out weird points and like draws like. You remember what Pivot Stickman looks like?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, where there's like
it's like a stickman, but all the joints, so the elbows,
they have little dots on them, and you can like move them around like that. It's like whatever it is, the software on the camera like draws that, and like as it moves, like any shape that it picks up in the dark, there's like this constantly weird, strange moving.
Does it draw like a line after these points? Like when you're if you're going like this, would it trace this point?
It just kind of like follows.
It like traces movement and it draws lines along with the movement.
I'm about 99% sure that's just software on a regular, like CCD or.
It would be nice if we knew what the fuck it was called.
It would be great if we knew, but we don't. We should talk about, because we were talking about this before the podcast, the grids.
Oh yeah, so we found grids. So in our searches, we found this amazing store that we just have to talk about. What's it called again?
Are we talking about the one that sells the bear?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Without getting into the bear,
is that Ghost Stop?
I think it was called Ghost Stop.
Like I remember it being like GameStop, but for
all your spooky needs.
So we are now 100% sponsored by GhostStop.com.
Whether they like it or not, we're sponsored.
Yeah, we're just gonna say this until they sponsor us.
That would be cool.
So for all your ghost hunting needs, visit GhostStop.com.
Did they have one of those grid cameras?
Yes.
Yeah. So they've got So they have this thing that I saw and I laughed so hard. I need this thing in my life. So you all have seen Mission Impossible or whatever, where Mr. Cruise himself is on like a rope, or coming down out of a vent, and there's a laser grid on the floor, and if you touch the laser grid, it triggers the alarm. They literally have that. So it broadcasts a square laser grid like out of the lens, and it has like a receptor. So every time something gets tripped, it trips an alarm. So if you
that's so outrageous.
So you could so the idea is that if there's something invisible in front of you that you can't see, the laser will shine onto it, and you'll see, there's an outline of a human here or something,
Right.
But in reality, it would just basically be like a fancy motion detector. But I'm gonna buy one so that I can build like an old school style vault. Like I want to be like a Bond villain, basically. I want to have.
I wonder if you can make it move.
You were buying
so that it's
this
like
all for a
moving towards you and expanding like it does. I'm thinking of that one scene in Resident Evil.
The first one.
What the hell's her name?
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, that's it. Jovovich.
where they're trying to jump over the laser grid.
Yeah.
One guy
And
doesn't.
that
It
boy
just
gets sliced.
turned into diamonds.
I wonder if you could do that. Could you make this laser high powered enough that it would just slice you?
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if you could slice ghosts up with
I
it.
wonder.
The only thing, like, I've seen videos with them using that,
Sure.
and I've seen ones that are a little bit cheaper that are just dots.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I've
not
seen that
really-
too. I wonder if that is actually
I'd-
cheaper or whether
I'd
that's
im-
different technology.
I'd imagine it's the
I-
exact same thing.
I don't know. Like,
Because the
I think we're
laser-
talking out of our asses, but
Yeah, I'm not the foremost guy to talk about
oh, I
ghost
am.
hunting.
I'll
and-
talk all
and
day about
lasers.
laser grid systems.
But
Not really. I have no idea. what I'm talking
Anytime I've seen a video where they use when they capture something,
Yeah.
it's always the laser like warps weird.
about. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
always what it is. There's never an alarm
Yeah.
to it. But
Yeah.
it
Well,
always-
the one that they had on ghoststop.com
our new sponsors. Thank you very
would
much for
give you
sponsoring us.
yeah, it would just like obviously it's just a visual thing, but it would, as soon as there was movement triggered, it would like trigger an alarm.
To be honest with you, that would be just super cool to just have in my room.
And for the low price,
It
of
would be crazy looking.
380 Canadian
Oh, it's
dollars
that little.
plus taxes and shipping, and it can be yours.
man,
so
that's-
patreon.com/DoGhostBeReal, so I can turn my
I
my
might just
basement
make
into
an
a
Amazon wish
that's only
list with all
slightly
this
more
stuff
than
on
that
it.
other thing that we
Yeah.
really desperately want that we'll
Yeah.
mention a little bit later on. I was going to mention, before we get any deeper into any tech, though, one of the things that really kind of launched ghost hunting into this tech direction, because of course people were doing this for a long time prior, but probably something that really launched people into the direction of being like, hey, there are things that can help you detect ghosts, was the 1984 comedy film Ghostbusters.
I know, when I think about ghost hunting, I think about Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
Like that's
It's got a special place in my heart.
absolutely
for sure.
that's immediately where my brain goes to. Anytime someone thinks of like ghost hunting equipment, or every time someone says something about ghost hunting equipment, I just picture like them scanning the room with their little devices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, don't cross the streams.
Also, the best theme song ever conceived by.
Oh,
man.
it fucking rocks. The
Yeah,
Ray
it's pretty
Parker
great.
Jr. one?
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it
it's
does
great.
rock.
Yeah, so,
Nobody wants to hear us sing,
man,
but,
we're dorking out, but you guys are gonna have to be okay with it because this comes with the territory of this podcast.
Maybe that'll be our theme song for this episode.
Even before technology, though, they were still. While everyone was spiritualists, that's what
Are
it
you
was
talking-
called
are
back
we
in
gonna
the
get
day.
into the woo-woo
We're gonna
shit
talk
right
into
now?
the woo-woo right now.
God.
my
Because-
list is like divided into three separate territories. I have technical, somewhat pseudoscience. I have woo-woo bullshit, and then I have crazy inventor nonsense.
And it worked out. You divided up very well. But before we get into the
Yes.
like crazier side of things, can we talk about like a little more practical ghost hunting
Yeah,
equipment?
we
for
definitely could.
So if you wanted to be a ghost hunter, you could go to
You could go to
You could go to
ghoststop.com.
You could
ghoststop.com.
literally buy everything that you
Yeah,
want.
and there's literally everything you need. So like, tell me, Spencer, what comes in the basic
Well,
ghost hunter
for
kit?
the low price of 177 Canadian dollars, which is they range in price from 177 to $800 before
Right.
you get into like really customized stuff. That's the range of the kits. The beginner kit on ghoststop.com contains a flashlight, an EMF detector, a digital voice recorder, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
That's the entirety of it, and that kind of seems like the basis for
Yeah.
just about
I think
every
that's
ghost
all you
kit.
really
That's all you
need.
really need. Now that digital voice recorder, is that the one that looks like an Apple Watch?
It sure is. Yeah,
That's
it looks
so
like a
fan-
smartwatch,
that's
which
so
is fucking
fantastic.
hilarious.
So silly.
It's literally just a crappy audio
Yeah.
recorder, but maybe not
Like-
crappy. I haven't actually seen it, but
So-
I'm not.
like
I'm not going to
so-
throw too much shade at
it looks-
GhostStop.com, our new sponsor.
yeah, our new
but
sponsor.
it kind of
You know-
appears that they might just be ordering shit from Alibaba.
Like you said, I hate to throw shade, but
I don't. I love throwing shade.
We can just go, dude.
I
we
love
can just
that.
go to Canadian Tire, get a flashlight.
Yeah.
Our phones, literally voice recorders.
But it's not from ghoststop.com.
You're right about that. And all the stuff that you get from GhostStop.com says GhostStop.com
That's
on
the
it. They have a
important
really
part.
Oh,
cool
it's the
printed
branding.
logo
Yeah,
on it.
that's the important.
We're
How are
brand-
people going to know
The
that you're
EVP
ghost
though?
hunting if you don't have a ghoststop.com
We're-
t-shirt?
We're brand whores here. We're big GhostStop.com fans.
I'm sorry, I disparaged our lovely sponsor. please give my family back. Much like
man.
Shaw, they've taken part of my family,
But
and I need them back.
Should we get into, I guess, the specifics of that beginner kit?
Yeah.
'Cause
Sure.
Kind of like probably the main piece of equipment that you see all the time in every single ghost hunting video is the EMF detector.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably people adopted this so widely
Yeah.
due to the fact that well, for one, Ghostbusters had a thing called the PKE meter,
Right.
which allowed them to like track ghosts and find them.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not the same concept, but it's
Yeah.
kind of got a similar like handheld form factor with
Yeah.
lights on it.
It's a much more realistic, less sci-fi sort of thing, but
Yeah.
the idea is the same.
It beeps at you
Yeah.
when there's
When there's electrical activity,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
which is like interesting because that's electrical activity.
Well,
yeah.
everything's got electrical
exactly.
activity.
So that's why it's going to be hard. Even a house that's not connected to the that's the wiring
grid,
isn't
yeah.
hooked up.
If you had
There's still going to be
absolutely, if you had a
residual.
detector that was sensitive enough, it would detect your heart. It would detect your nervous system.
It's not even always necessarily a thing about being sensitive. Sometimes it's just, I guess it is a sensitivity thing, but largely, like the one that's probably the most famous is the K2. And a lot of people, when you're watching ghost hunting videos, they'll refer to it as a K2.
Yeah.
And K2 is actually just a company based out of New York.
Right.
They're called K2 Industries, and they make a EMF meter. What the heck is it called? It's called, it's called the Safe Range EMF detector.
Right, okay.
And the thing that I guess makes this one probably so favored by ghost hunters is the fact that it's unshielded.
I was just gonna say it's because it
So,
picks up everything.
It just picks up everything.
It also has a wide range of detection. If I remember correctly, it goes from 100 megahertz up to like 12 gigahertz or something, which is a huge range of
I think
sensitivity.
so.
Yeah.
So it would detect anything from like low power electrical discharges to like a radio station.
Now, my question to you guys is, like we talked about, the only thing I find very weird about those meters is, you'll be in one place, it's not going off at all,
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly it'll just go off.
That's
where I'm like, okay,
I mean,
maybe
that can be entirely faked is the problem. And one of the things that makes it really difficult is when I was reading about this, there was a bunch of testing done, and I guess probably the most consistent thing about ghost hunting throughout the ages is there are people who are genuinely curious about the paranormal, who are really open to it and love it. Then there are hucksters and fraudsters, and then there are the people who are super skeptical, who are looking to just kind of disprove everybody.
for sure.
And somebody who did that in particular was there's a guy named Kenny Biddle who writes for Skeptical Inquirer. I guess he's some sort of scientific tinkerer. I don't know exactly what his background is. But when looking into the K2 meter in particular, he observed that with the usage of a wireless Microsoft computer mouse, the way that he maneuvered that, and he could do it, I forget from how far away, but it was like a good distance.
Like
he could
30
just
feet.
he could just maneuver it. So like all of those TV shows and everything that we've ever seen where they have an EMF detector and they're just sitting there and nothing's happening, and suddenly something happens, like that could be anything from like. That could be radio waves. That could be fucking anything. It could be a computer mouse.
Like
it would be really easy to
absolutely.
trump that up.
And it's not a coincidence
that
that it
hurts
worked.
my heart to hear, though.
And it's not a coincidence that it worked up to 30 feet away because that's the range of Bluetooth.
Right.
So,
Right.
like, you just wouldn't be able to
Okay.
detect it after that because, and it has an antenna that broadcasts things out in a certain range, and so you turn it, and the signal's going to get stronger, and it's going to get weaker,
Right.
and it's going to get stronger, and then it's going to get weaker, and that's just how electronics work. That's how radio antennas work. They don't just broadcast out in a circle; they broadcast out horizontally, unless the antenna, I should say, is designed to
Right.
go all around or whatever. It's just going to go left or right. So,
And I think the
if you
K2
point it sideways, it's not going to be strong. You turn it the other way, it's going to be way
Yeah.
stronger. It's going to go crazy.
The K2 is antenna based entirely too. It's not like
Yeah.
other probes. Like the thing that makes the K2 so, I guess, reactive when you move it around and turn it is that it's single axis based, whereas a lot of other EMF meters will measure on multiple axes.
Right. Yeah. Which I guess makes sense.
Or
But
axes.
But the K2 is only $73 on
It is.
Amazon.ca.
Exactly. If you don't want to go to our lovely, Ghost Shop?
Ghost Stop.
Ghost Stop.
Ghost Stop.
Don't you forget that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Our new sponsor-
GhostStop.com. Sponsor us. Come on.
And you can't get a K2 off GhostStop.com, but you can get it off Amazon. But you can get an equivalent off GhostStop.com, and it does basically
And
the
just
same
about
thing.
anywhere else.
Yep.
But it does have branding.
It does.
So-
That's the important
It says
part.
GhostStop.com on it.
It does. It
which
also
is
looks
cool.
fancy.
It does look
It's got
fancy.
a little thing sticking out of it.
It looks tremendously AliExpress to me.
Yes.
But EMF meters have actual legitimate non-paranormal usage as well. Like they're used in the like all kinds of electrical fields.
Yeah, if you're an electrician or you run like fiber optic, well maybe not fiber optic, but you're running like Ethernet cabling through a wall, and you want to figure out which cable's active, you just get a little electromagnetic wand and you run it over it, and it'll tell you which cables are active.
Linemen too, like anybody who like is detecting issues with anything. Yeah, I guess for the most part. Yep. Doing that sort of stuff. So that's, I guess that's EMF meters.
I'm glad that it has a use in the actual world and not just for hunting spooky boys.
Yep. So that's the important usage, though. That's the one we. I
knew this episode would break my heart a little bit, but
this one's all heartbreak for you for the most part, dude.
It hurts so bad, but you know what? I can choose to still believe.
That's the important part.
You definitely can. It is kind of it is disheartening to see. Like there are certainly videos that even have me looking at them and going like, oh, that would be hard to fake. But the EMF meter for me was always like an odd thing where, I always thought it was kind of hokey, but like now knowing that you can really manipulate it with anything from a phone to a fucking computer mouse, it picks up everything.
Especially the unshielded ones.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones will do just certain spectrums. So, your radio transmission isn't going to be picked up. Your Bluetooth transmissions won't be picked up, but it'll still pick up other things. Like everything is electromagnetic radiation. The light that we're seeing here is electromagnetic radiation. It happens to be in a certain spectrum that our eyes can see it. The same with infrared. It's just much lower power electromagnetic radiation. Like the Bluetooth signal is a little higher power. Like it's just It's all fits in an electromagnetic spectrum, so it's not unusual that it would pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess. After my heart being shattered into a million pieces, can we talk about some woo-woo stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about...
We can go woo-woo.
Let's talk about spirit boxes.
I would love to talk about some woo-woo stuff. We can talk about spirit boxes. Let's do that first, actually.
Yeah,
because that's more of a modern invention than anything else.
I think we should probably just cover the, like things you can get at ghoststop.com. Yeah, and then move in.
Realistically.
So what's a spirit box?
So
because I didn't know what a spirit box was until very recently.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's essentially a device that plays AM and FM signals at the same time.
It's just a radio that ultimately scans through AM and FM bands, like I think 5 every second or something like that, and it has no mute function in between bands. So like when you would switch on a radio between bands regularly, there's not all that noise in the way.
Sure.
And it like scans continuously.
So it's like Bumblebee's voice without a mute.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Is Bumblebee? No, never mind. I'm not gonna...
Transformers.
I know who Bumblebee is, dude. I've got a G1 Bumblebee hanging on the wall in there, my dude. Yeah, don't come at me about this. I was just gonna make another stupid comment.
Go for it. I was gonna say Spencer's about to give you the nerd smackdown.
He's about to drop the fucking elbow.
I'm just about to make I'm gonna show my ass, and I don't need to be doing that.
He's gonna atomic elbow my ass.
Man, me and Simon are gonna set you up for the doomsday device. I'm gonna get you on my shoulders, and then Simon's gonna get on that desk and clothesline you off.
All on camera, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, that would be cool. We might be able to get some more viewers if we did that. That would be nifty. Kidding. I've always wanted to put someone in a doomsday device. But anyway, back to spirit boxes.
Yes.
A spirit box isn't a new idea.
No.
I was reading a book for a little bit today. I was getting into all that kind of nonsense again.
You fancy boy.
Yeah, I was
reading.
I was reading a book called The Brave Mortal's Guide to Ghost Hunting by Alex Matsuo, and I guess prior to the 2000s boom, there weren't there wasn't ghoststop.com.
No.
There weren't a bunch of
needs.
We are privileged to have ghoststop.com.
We are privileged to have ghoststop.com. There weren't a bunch of retailers that were people weren't specifically selling ghost hunting equipment, so enthusiasts and people who were into this sort of stuff just kind of made their own shit. They had tape recorders prior to digital recorders, and they also made something called the Shack Hack, which was like, in reference to Radio Shack, of course,
for sure.
Which entailed just basically taking an AM/FM radio and removing the mute function so that when the radio scanned through the channels, it wouldn't mute the frequencies in between, would perpetually seek, just the same as spirit boxes.
And is the idea that the ghost will take control of it and tune to various frequencies to make sounds
to talk.
Yeah.
I guess
Yes
I don't
and
even know if
no.
it's so much that they tune to specific frequencies. I guess something we should have said about the EMF detection is what the idea in the woo-woo sense is that ultimately the reason why it's lighting up like that is because the spirit is interacting with it, and that's pretty much every single one of these pieces of tech. That's the idea, where it's like the ghost interacts with it, and because it's supposed to be believable in the sense that because it's scanning through channels so quickly, like it would be really, really difficult for, a string of words to come out. Sure. And it actually is. I have some statistical information on that as well. But basically the idea is that a spirit would manipulate the device to make sounds through it.
For sure.
That would, I guess, be audible representations of, responses to your questions.
The only thing about that makes me feel like it's a little skeptical is your brain is so incredibly good at finding patterns that may or may not be there.
Yes,
for sure. For sure, but there are some cases where it's like that is indistinguishable. Like they are actually talking.
I haven't seen any personally. There is one really convincing one actually that I have seen, and that's the one that I'm going to, I guess, note is on an episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Shout out BuzzFeed.
Yeah, Shane and Ryan went and they did. What was that episode called? I think I have that actually written down here. It was the captive spirits of the Eastern State Penitentiary. At like the 12-minute mark of that video, they use a spirit box, and it's the first time they ever use a spirit box. And they've relatively clearly, and it actually does sound like this. Like especially when you hear it the first time, they hear the words "Oh boy, get out," which is pretty crazy. But also take note that those words are all single syllables, so they could just be, it could be as simple as, we'll put the link to that video maybe in our description too, so that you can actually judge that yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But they really could just be a pile of just single vowel sounds that you're tying together.
Yeah.
Research in mainstream psychology has shown that people will perceive words and strings of nonsensical speech sounds.
Yeah,
like that is a really common thing.
Reading today about paranormal stuff, I think I got to put all of psychology on it's on site. All of psychology.
Because they're challenging
challenging me.
The field
the field that I'm going into is challenging my beliefs.
Oh man,
this is rough.
There is some interesting stuff about spirit boxes though, and it is actually statistically very unlikely that they would have heard a string of 4 words in a row. Apparently, like when you're using a spirit box, on average, you'll hear 1 word in every 30 seconds.
Okay.
There's a 0.38% chance of hearing 2 words in a row that sound like 2 words.
Sure.
And then there's a 0.01 chance of hearing 3 words in a row. So I imagine it's statistically even less likely to hear something that sounds like 4 easily distinguishable words. So it's very unlikely that would have happened. But people get lucky. Things happen.
Yeah.
Totally. Also,
it's a game of chance.
And also those numbers would just be random words. They might not necessarily make sense. The hearing, 3 or 4 words in sequence that actually make sense.
It is bizarre.
That would definitely...
That's why it's like a little, maybe.
I think it's the most convincing evidence they ever. Aside from that shit at the Sally House where they have that light floating around.
Also, didn't they have asked a ghost to turn off a flashlight or something?
Yes.
And they did it, and they asked it to turn back on.
That was at the Sally House.
Yep.
Yeah. That was
that's as close as I've ever gotten to being like, that's actually challenging to
same here, especially because it was
refute.
just a regular
especially the nature of the program. It's not like they're trying to find anything.
They usually weren't. They didn't do a whole heck of a lot of
their
fucking
way
around
to mess around.
I
have seen they did do one where they investigated a supposedly haunted lighthouse, and it's like the tale is if you go in by yourself, you'll always have some sort of weird paranormal event happen.
Okay.
And, And the one guy was like, okay, well,
that was some spirit box shit too, right?
Yes. And then after that, the other guy goes in. He goes up to the top. He's like, all right, well, there's nothing here. And then you can see in a video, like in the video, someone points out like, hey, look at this part. And there's just a guy standing in like the window.
Oh, really?
Like watching him.
That could be a damn shadow. Could be a shadow.
Shadow person.
It could be a shadow. Then it also could be a shadow person.
It's very likely.
Man, I don't know if it's likely.
Hit you with that.
But it is wild. Should we get into? Should we do EVP before we go on to? Brett's really itching to get into the woo woo stuff.
I'm enjoying the woo woo stuff. a joy to look up.
And I didn't do as much of this. I didn't get into that, but
I don't think you needed to. I think Brett has it covered.
I do believe that he does.
A couple of the things I have tried myself.
Man,
so,
we know you get deep into the woo woo.
Yeah, we got to get deep from time to time. Sometimes when you stare at the abyss, it's something will stare back.
Oh man. Anyway, so the idea behind EVP is kind of similar to how I guess spirits are supposed to interact with EMF meters and spirit boxes. It is once again, these are supposed to be inaudible sounds to your ear, but when using like a digital recorder or a tape recorder prior to that,
right,
when you're listening back, you're supposed to be able to, distinguish those sounds.
Yeah. So, what movie was that? I think it was Annabelle the Conjuring. Right?
Probably, yeah.
They're doing an audio recorder and they're playing it back, and I think you couldn't hear one of the people. I think that's what happened in that one. Or you can hear other voices with it, like just messing with the recordings.
That's 100% what EVP is supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
But once again, it's, relatively suspect when you're thinking about stuff like, picking up random speech patterns and just our tendency to like want to organize shit in our brains.
Would that include like photos where you can see stuff in the background that you couldn't see when it was there?
That's a similar phenomenon. I think that's probably more in the realm of spirit photography, but man, it's all the same shit.
Yeah, it's all
pretty similar.
It all falls into the same sort of category, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that one. I don't know. Whenever I've listened to it, they're like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And I'm like, "No, it sounds like static. It sounds like nothing. It doesn't matter how much you've cranked and edited the audio to like make it so I can hear it. I cannot hear it. It just sounds like static."
Or it'll be like, and it's like, what's your name? And it's like, and it's like, what? He said Michael. It is Michael. Michael died here.
Yeah.
It's always stuff like that. I mean, it's always hokey bullshit.
It's always very like. The best way I can tie it to is cold readings. It's like I'm searching for an M. I'm searching for an M, and then you'll hear an M in the recording.
It's a lot of suggestion.
It's a lot of suggestion. Exactly. It's people hear what they want to hear.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
So it's unfortunate. Like, do I believe there are things that are unexplainable out there? Definitely, but there's a lot of people trying to make money online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially now more
and even
so
prior
than ever.
Prior to online.
Yeah, but now more so than ever, you're going to run into a lot more faked videos.
Yeah.
So when I do see something that's like, that would be pretty hard to fake.
It's interesting that like as time goes along, things become easier to debunk, but also other things become harder to debunk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As technology jumps forward, it's harder for people to fake certain things, but then it's also much easier for people to fake other things with the advent of like, After Effects and shit like that.
And like deep fake video. That's crazy.
That is very, very bizarre.
Fan. Yeah, no.
Just know, boys, there will be enough audio and video of us in the future that people can deepfake.
Oh, absolutely. There's enough out there right now that someone could make a bot of our voices.
And I don't like that.
Have you ever seen the Joe Rogan bot?
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. You can just make him say heinous shit, and it sounds just
hilarious.
like him.
He already says heinous shit on his own.
We don't need to get Joe Rogan in any more trouble than he's already in. It seems like he's consistently embroiled in some shit. Everyone's angry at him always.
You don't want to talk about ivermectin?
No, I'm good. For the YouTube algorithm, I definitely don't want to talk about it. It is the last thing I want to talk about.
We'll be
Folks,
talking about that on patreon.com/2ghostsbereal. That's when we get into horse dewormers and aquarium chemicals and shit like that.
We debunk horse dewormers.
Yeah. We're debunking it. We're not coming out for it. Please, everybody know that.
Did you know that there's evidence to suggest that vaccines let you see ghosts?
Oh.
So you should go get one.
Man,
so you can
I should
see
just
ghosts.
start injecting 20 of them into me every
Just
day.
gigavaxed.
Yes.
Man, I love the idea of being gigavax. I think I gotta get another one because I got the mixture.
I got the mix too.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let me into a lot of countries. Not that
No, they'll let you in.
From what I understand, as long as you don't have.
What if I want another one anyway?
You literally can. You can walk. You can ask and get one.
I'm gonna get another one. I want Moderna too, and I am dead serious.
I've had 2 Pfizers, and I want to get a dose of Moderna because it's far and away the most effective one.
I have a Moderna and a Pfizer.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
fucking powered
set.
up, dude.
You're set.
Yeah, I'm powered up. My brain doesn't work properly. I constantly have brain fog. It's a real nightmare. I had it before,
Oh my God.
so it wasn't anything to do with the vaccine. But it's just
It's all the head trauma that I've sustained hammering it against the wall, trying to see ghosts.
I
I
love all
just
those-
want to see them.
I love all those like Twitter posts where it's like, yeah, my cousin got the vaccine, and boom, 2 weeks later, he got hit by a car.
Oh,
like,
Man, I hate that when that happens.
Man, I've got a coworker whose wife is in a coma, and one of my wife's coworkers' father just died as a result of COVID. These
Oh
are
my
both
God.
COVID things right now.
Yeah,
So
oh my
please,
God.
everybody, all joking aside, go get your fucking vaccines.
Yeah,
Quit
please
being
do.
dickheads.
Yeah.
Come on, knock it off. Not that we want to be divisive out here. We're all for anybody. Believe whatever you want to believe politically, but hey, knock the bullshit off.
yeah.
I just want to play my reindeer games. Let me play my reindeer
Man,
games.
I like your
damn it.
reindeer games.
I want to frolic. Let me frolic outside, please.
Should we get back into ghost
Yeah,
hunting?
yeah,
let's
maybe.
let's drop a couple. But yeah, before we pound COVID any harder. Not that it's the most tired
yeah.
subject on the entire
Yeah.
fucking planet,
Yeah.
but it's also all that's
This
happening.
just in,
So
3 guys have a hot take about COVID. What else is fucking new?
I don't even
Like,
know if I
bruh.
consider that a hot take.
no, it's exactly what literally everybody else
Yeah.
is saying.
Yeah, it's
There's-
just like, hey, just go do your thing.
do it.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh man.
All right, Dad. Jeez.
So a few other things that are really common in the non-woo-woo specter of, saying non-woo-woo about ghost hunting altogether is just wacky. It's all pretty
Yeah,
woo-woo,
it's all
but
pretty crazy.
It's all up in the air, but that's why we love it.
Yep.
yeah,
That's why
absolutely.
we talk about this every single week.
So let's talk about like the crazier methods of
Oh,
contact.
I was gonna say, like, before we get into
Okay.
that, I was thinking of like just like infrared thermometers and stuff
Okay,
like that, and
sure.
like probes that people can put around, like temperature probes, and then just like,
I'm a big fan of probes.
you know what, I don't really actually have all that much. You know what, take it away, dude. Let's go into the crazier shit.
that was just a joke about.
He was making a
about.
No, I know that. I
He
grasped
was-
that.
he was making a
I
pretty.
was just like, I came at you and was like, oh yeah, no, I have more to say about stuff, and then I like very quickly realized I didn't.
Careful.
Man, don't hurt yourself.
Jeez.
Sorry.
My man.
Also, my.
Now, look at these damn feet.
Man,
you know what? I'm just gonna put that back
put
down.
No, dude,
Put
that's
them
what the
tootsies
people.
away.
That's what the people are paying
Nah,
for, man.
Dude,
Usually,
I was gonna say Patreon.com. Do Ghost Be Real.
yeah,
See
you can
Simon's
get a nice close-up shot of Simon's feet. That's just a little taste.
I just want to be comfortable.
Now, you can be comfortable. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shot that fire at you.
I'm sorry I kicked the table. Jesus.
Yeah, who
That's all
cares?
right.
Anyways,
It's a big boy. I
I
can
don't.
take it.
I don't really have anything to.
on thermometers.
On thermometers. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Well, I was
mean,
just gonna say we get into the crazier shit that you were
Sure.
suggesting.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine
yeah.
with that. I
Take
think-
we got to talk about Ouija boards, man.
Oh yeah.
So Ouija boards. I did a little bit of research because I don't know much about them.
Right.
You know,
Is it not like, hey, so I always thought there was something crazy to a Ouija board, but is it not just a board with
it is
letters on
literally
it?
a board
Yeah,
with
it
letters
is.
on it.
Yeah.
It is a board just
But
with letters on it.
this being said, do you have a fucking Ouija board?
Oh my god.
I don't. Why did I?
Oh my god.
I don't like this.
Oh boy.
Friend of the cast, Andrew Tammy.
I knew you were gonna say
Oh.
that. As soon as I saw the Ouija board, I was like, Andrew, what did you do?
It's upside down, my man.
Yeah, so we've got this fun
Oh
boy
my god.
right
Okay,
here.
we gotta open this.
Yeah. So
Parker, is that Parker Brothers?
It is Parker Brothers, yeah.
Oh, fun.
William Fold talking board said,
Yes.
Ouija mystifying oracle.
So it originally started coming out in newspapers in
Oh my God.
sorry. Oh man, that is cut off and that's upsetting. February in February
Oh my God.
1894 or something like that.
Oh my god.
And it was called
I've never seen a Ouija board.
Ouija, the wonderful talking board. So
Yeah.
that was the name originally of a Ouija board. So
Look at that, dude. Isn't
like-
that fun?
I like how it says goodbye because you gotta close
you
the gate.
gotta close the gate.
I
right?
was gonna say, dude, I pulled it. Look what I found underneath the stairs, like in your story.
Yeah. But
God.
I don't like that the planchette is a plastic boy. You need a wood boy, man.
Now we could probably get a wood
probably
boy.
Probably get a wood
Boy.
one. That's
It's
pretty
kind of
neat.
cool looking
But
though, isn't
for
it?
no- the way
For those who are watching on
Yeah.
YouTube, you can see this. That's
the way
pretty cool.
it was marketed as a way to talk or to ask questions about the past, present, or future. So back in the time that it was kind of marketed, spirituality was at its like height. So
Yeah, spiritualism.
Yeah.
spiritualism was at its height, so people
Yeah.
wanted to essentially be able to talk to the dead, and this was a fun way for them to do it, and a mass marketed way for them to do it. Like, this was all over the place.
Yeah.
It took the world, but there's
There's a reason why
evidence-
they're all over pop culture.
Yeah.
there's evidence of talking boards all the way back to the 1100s.
Yeah, they go
Yeah,
back a
to
long time.
1100 AD
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
Song Dynasty.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The idea of a talking board with letters and a planchette
Yeah.
for the express purpose of communicating with the dead is really genuinely ancient.
Yeah, it's an
So
old...
this is not a new idea at
No,
all.
and
However-
even this rendition of it, like this was patented in 1890,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is
And I-
fucking crazy.
And I see the trademarks are for Parker Brothers Inc. in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that
look
makes
at
it-
that, dude.
That's cool.
So, we do have a fun little Ouija board, and I am very uncomfortable that it is
I was hoping your reaction would be bigger, but I didn't. I in honesty didn't have a better way to reveal this.
It's pretty exciting, and it's pretty cool. Like,
I've never
It
seen,
is fucking
legitimately,
cool
it
looking,
is cool
honestly.
looking.
I've never seen one before.
I've never seen one in person.
Yeah.
But
I kind of didn't want to bring it into my house, but then I did a lot of reading about ideomotor phenomena,
yeah.
and I was like, also I watched the Penn and Teller bullshit episode about
Okay.
Ouija boards, and I am quite convinced that it is fucking
It's
nonsense.
absolute nonsense. Yes.
But I think it's very cool nonsense.
but the thing is like, because of the experience that my family has had with
Right.
it, I'm a little bit more.
No, I get you, dude.
s-
People have reservations about this,
Yeah.
and in entire honesty, I was kind of under the impression that I would bring this in here and then put it out in the garage after, because I kind of don't even want it in my house. But I also kind of just want to put this up on like a stand in our background or something
Honestly,
like that.
you know what we could do? We could hang it up on the wall.
We could definitely hang
that
that.
would be cool.
We should
That would
find
be
a way
cool.
to actually incorporate this into
Yeah,
the back.
that'd be
Genuinely, thank you very much, Andrew Tam
Yeah.
of Atlas Painting. Feel free to look him up on Google. One hell of a painter, and also one hell of a guy who keeps giving us ghost-related bullshit.
Yeah.
Andrew's a good dude.
Andrew's the king, so
Yeah, that's very cool.
It
Yeah,
is
It's
fucking
really-
cool.
One day when you guys just leave me alone down here for a few minutes, I'm gonna open a portal to hell, and then
Man, don't
and
do
then,
that.
And then I'm just gonna leave.
I'm gonna be ticked.
Man, don't you
I'm
be
gonna be-
opening portals to hell in my house.
Especially in Spencer's home. He invites us here.
Man, maybe get Ginger the doll out here and then open the portal.
Yeah,
to hell.
okay.
You can fuck right off with all that shit.
We'll
Man, I
find-
keep bringing things into this house to make you uncomfortable.
That's been like a theme of the show. It's just like, let's see how uncomfortable we can
Yeah,
make him with
there's a quiet
ghostly
moment,
stuff.
so let's try to make Brett uncomfortable. You know what Andrew was initially planning to do? He was actually planning to. He ran out of time, but he was intending to give us this board with a printed out picture of Valak, the Black Nun demon from The Conjuring.
oh my God.
Underneath the board, so that when we opened it and went like, oh yeah, this is kind of and then that would be in there.
Oh my
That would
gosh.
be real rude.
Yeah, that was the original plan. Fun plan. He didn't end up executing it, but
But that's really cool. Like, legitimately, I do enjoy just like us never using it for its intended purposes and just using it as decoration. I'm fine with that. I might bring some various waters and herbs to burn in front of it. But
I think we just got to take a lot of mushrooms and fuck with the Ouija board.
yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Somewhere
baby
that's
girl.
not this house.
Not my
I don't
place.
know why I still have that reservation. Like, I know this is bullshit, but there's still that part of my brain that was like raised with like Judeo-Christian superstition and like that weird fucking terror.
I think that exact phenomenon you're describing is the reason why we're doing the show.
For sure,
'Cause,
yeah.
yeah, we know that it's all very silly.
Yeah,
but we still,
but
we're still like
part of you. It doesn't matter how scientific you are. Part of you is like, well, maybe
But
we
ma-
can't
yeah.
explain any. Like, we
what
can't
if?
explain
Yeah,
most
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, but yeah, no, this is a fun.
It's very cool.
Damn nice condition too.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very nice
condition.
condition. Look at it. Look at every part of this. Like
looks-
the box is very cool.
It looks
looking.
brand new on
Yeah.
It does, and I'm assuming this is probably 70s or something
it's
like
fairly
that.
old. I would say it's fairly old,
It's been treated well.
Yeah,
just based on the colorization.
Yeah, like it's a
of
little
the white.
discolored. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that it's got some age on it. But
I'm sure it
very,
has a
very
year
cool.
somewhere. But
Yeah.
in any case, that's
cool.
Ouija boards.
I was wondering what the heck you were doing digging around back there.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm
was
like,
a-
man, that's gonna pick up on the mics. That's gonna pick up on the mics, and then you just Oh,
Oh,
sick.
and it's worth it.
And the outcome is worth it.
Yeah.
Another thing I looked up is scrying. So that can be done with
What the fuck is scrying?
so mediums with the crystal balls when they're looking into
scrying
it.
would be like remote viewing. Like
Okay,
like,
yeah.
like viewing from like top down, I think is the standard way to
So
scry. Like
it's
you look
it's
into, like, a
very
crystal
interesting. You
ball.
can either use a ball, or I've heard people using their
So
phones.
it's divination.
It's
No.
essentially like, from what I was reading, these people, what they're doing, all they're doing is getting themselves into a meditative / trance-like state where they're just like hyper focusing, and then they're getting images. Because I don't know if you guys have ever had like a meditative experience where you experience
definitely.
hallucinogenic sort of things.
I've
never had
daydreamed. I've been in a float tank like
Yes.
Joe Rogan.
Yes, I have
I
too.
always
That's
want-
what I'm talking
I've always
about.
wanted to try that.
I had a very weird
I just
experience
stopped
in
fucking
there.
clearing my throat. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I
it's
hope
okay.
that's not picking up. Everybody who's listening, I'm sorry. I'm fucking disgusting.
Literally everyone on this podcast probably has postnasal drip as fall time
yeah,
comes
I have
around.
Heinous post
So
nasal
that's
drip.
I have the same issue too. My
Yeah,
throat
everybody,
is
this is the
killing
post nasal
me.
drip podcast.
Three guys talk about their postnasal drip and
God.
ghosts sometimes.
And occasionally ghosts.
But no, what I was reading on scrying is essentially these people getting themselves into a trance-like state, and a lot of them described it almost like being under the influence of drugs.
Okay.
So like they've clearly tapped into something in their brain.
I feel like
because the brain is an amazing organ.
Or they're full of fucking shit.
I was gonna say,
Most likely that
or
one.
perhaps they took some DMT.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
So what they're doing is they're like in this meditative state, and they're kind of hallucinating these visions,
Sure.
and that's what they're visions of the dead or visions of
I gotta be-
things to come, or and oftentimes yes they're bullshit, but
Yeah.
when they are correct, it's kind of scary, don't
Yeah,
you think?
It is definitely spooky when somebody gets something right, but
I mean, if you throw enough darts,
yeah.
you're gonna hit.
and oftentimes
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, exactly.
And oftentimes you can manifest things just by willpower alone. So if someone tells you,
That's what fucking life coaching is.
no, I know, but like if someone tells you something's gonna happen, like
Yeah, for sure.
and then it's just gonna like you're gonna think, oh, this is
Yeah,
you know,
you're gonna
if
draw-
I do this, if
yeah.
I go down this path, I'm gonna
You're gonna draw a conclusion.
and like you can just do that to yourself. It's
gotta-
super easy.
I gotta be honest, my only knowledge of scrying comes from like fantasy novels.
It's very cool. It's a very cool idea, and it's a very old
This
idea.
is some
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings shit.
This is some like
Yes, because,
King
like-
Arthur,
Okay,
Merlin
yeah.
shit. Like
and they were into all that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like what you were saying before about it being divination. Divination is different. So divination would be telling the future.
Okay.
From like some sort of, whether it's like a
Right.
crystal ball.
So it's
and
not
you're-
like communicating with entities.
Yeah, so that would be like, you're using a crystal ball, you're reading tea leaves, you're like trying to predict the future based off of the signs that you
Right.
see.
which,
Whereas,
which that is a different
yeah,
sort
whereas
of thing.
scrying would be using either, in the case of like the King Arthur story, you'd be using like, Merlin's magical ability, or
Okay.
in Lord of the Rings, they use like a seeing stone, like a crystal ball, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And it lets you see things in the world. Like
Yeah.
you could see something, 1,000 kilometers away that's happening.
This is real time. This is remote viewing.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
although in the case of Lord of the Rings, I think it also showed you things that could happen, but that was
Okay.
because Sauron was controlling it.
Man,
Right.
I hate it when Sauron's just up in my business.
Man, I bet you
Yeah.
could do a Lord of the Rings podcast very easily.
I couldn't because oh my god, because Stephen Colbert exists.
Oh,
Stephen Colbert
okay.
is like the do you know about Stephen Colbert's nerdiness?
No, I don't know a fucking thing about
Stephen
it.
Colbert is the authority on
I
Lord
haven't
of the
even
Rings.
seen all of the Hobbit movies.
Well, that's probably good. They're not good.
Okay,
But
They're a movie.
I stopped
You
at
can
that.
watch
I
them.
stopped at that fucking white orc. I liked
Yeah.
him. He was cool.
There's
He's
I
good
could
business.
definitely do a Lord of the Rings podcast, actually, to be honest, but I would just feel
You'd
You
feel,
feel,
like you're
uh,
feel
stepping on some
inferior.
toes.
I feel inferior compared to Stephen Colbert's encyclopedic knowledge of Lord of the Rings. You should just go on YouTube and search Stephen Colbert Lord of the Rings, and there's some hilarious clips of people talking to him on his show about Lord of the Rings, and he's like, actually no.
Boy.
It's funny.
He just actually
Actually-
knows.
Drops some knowledge.
Oh
He
man.
neckbeards him to death
He does.
Oh, no.
But in a suave manner because he's a charismatic
because
guy.
he has no neckbeard. I got it.
Exactly. But yeah, so in Lord of the Rings, I think it's more like it's obviously more magical manipulation. But in my only knowledge of scrying comes from like fantasy novels.
Okay.
As
Yeah,
far as I know,
and-
there's no real any real examples of someone scrying.
Right.
It's and it can happen with mirrors as well. You can use
Yeah,
mirrors.
yeah.
Mirror,
Like-
mirror on the wall.
Like mirrors are very
Like you can use mirrors.
supernatural.
Yeah.
Like people throughout history they've been very.
Man, they're spooky. You can see shit behind you.
I know.
It's like a.
But-
I think they were historically almost seen as like a gateway.
Yes,
to
there's
the
lots of
paranormal.
superstition behind it too. Like you'll notice in a lot, well, even the Nukes videos that we watch,
Yeah.
the mirrors were either covered or face down. In
Yeah.
the case of 2 Japanese ghost hunters, they're very superstitious on
Yeah.
covering your mirrors, like when you leave a place and stuff like that. And
Now,
I
is
don't
that
think
because-
that's so much Western culture.
No, I don't think so. But I have heard that you can like summon witches through a mirror. Or
Yeah,
you, like,
you
talk
can-
to
you can
witches or something.
Candyman
Man, should we
it.
summon some witches?
Oh yeah.
We could
I
let's
mean,
let's
I
Candyman
literally-
in the mirror with the
Yeah.
fucking Ouija board.
Let's do
I
it.
literally can just call a friend and we can have a witch here.
Oh man, things have gotten a lot easier with cell phones. Honestly,
Yeah, I can just.
If you know some witches, you can
speed
summon 'em.
dial a witch.
That's one thing I was gonna say is you can scry with with your webcam. You can
Yeah,
technically speaking,
you can
yes.
you can fucking
can just-
FaceTime your way into it.
exactly. You can just hack into someone's unprotected webcam
Yeah.
and just look at their house.
Oh man,
Just look at my dungeon.
exactly.
man.
Oh man.
Would you
Coombe-
guys
the
give me
Coombe cave?
one fucking sweat? Would you give me 1 second here? My throat is so full of shit, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely need you to cut this. But I need to clear my
Yeah,
throat
no,
so
for sure.
bad and have a beverage.
Okay.
We're back. We're back. Sorry, my lovely boy had to clear his throat.
I had to clear
but-
my damn throat, and I figured that I'd done enough of that already on camera, so I cleared my throat and I filled up a beverage, so now I'm back and I don't sound as gravelly. We're back, baby!
Yeah. So I was just.
It's almost like we didn't go anywhere at all.
It's almost like the people are gonna notice on the show itself. They're gonna go, where
Did they
Through the
cut?
did
the
something
magic-
happen?
through
What
the
did we
magic of
miss?
editing.
through the magic of Filmora, I have
Exactly.
fixed the problem.
Exactly.
But no, we were talking about more woo-woo stuff, and one of the last ones I do want to talk about because I have evidence. Well, not evidence, but I have done it.
You've
before.
done this,
Yes. It's bless you. It's called
yeah. Gesundheit, dude. You all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
it's called pendulum. So
Pendulum, also known as dowsing,
Yes.
doodlebugging, or divining.
yes,
Those are some weird names.
I like
Yeah.
doodlebugging
Well,
myself.
we will-
We're gonna continue
we
to.
will
from,
be referring
from
to
this
it as
point on. We're
doodlebugging.
referring to it as doodlebugging. So,
So-
doodlebugging.
I think I'm gonna start referring to a lot of things as doodlebugging.
So let me pull up my notes here just so I get it 100% because
Yeah, go to town, dude.
you can only really use it for yes or no questions. So it's very similar to like a Ouija board where
Right,
you would ask it questions, but in this case it can only really ever be yes or no questions. So what you want to do is you hold your pendulum because it's essentially a crystal on a chain,
Right.
and you hold it still.
Kyber crystal?
Doesn't matter what kind of crystal usually.
Now it can be whatever the hell you want it to
But
be,
what
baby.
you want to do is you hold it with your dominant hand. In my case, I'm ambidextrous, so I can choose.
Oh, you think you're fucking better than us?
I can't help it. I was born this way. So what you do is you hold it, and then you ask a question. And very much like the micromotor skills
Ideomotor.
Ideomotor, as the Ouija board, it'll either spin.
Which we didn't even fucking explain what ideomotor was.
yeah,
we
no,
were
we
just
didn't.
tossing out ideomotor.
We'll get back into that.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But essentially, what happens is you ask it a yes or no question. If it spins clockwise, it's a yes. If
Sure.
it spins counterclockwise, it's a no.
Does this change depending on which hemisphere of the planet you're in?
That's
It's just
a
like
great
water
question.
being flushed in a toilet, you know? Like
I
how it's
see-
more likely to go, like it's actually, it only goes one way and then up the northern
See,
hemisphere and then you go to the
I-
southern hemisphere and it goes
I
the other
don't
way.
know. I'm not 100% sure.
So patreon.com/DoGhostBeReal, we need some plane tickets so we can test this out. We're going to Australia.
We're just gonna be flushing toilets. We're not fucking around with with doodlebugging at all. Maybe we'll doodlebug as well we flush a toilet.
But I have
That
done
sounds
it.
like some weird.
Man, I do a lot of doodlebugging on the toilet.
Some kinky stuff is going on here.
I have done it before, and it's very much like your Ouija board. At the end, you have to say goodbye, and
Right,
because you're
okay.
supposedly opening up a portal. And I did get some weird answers to my questions.
Okay.
I
What were you
can't rem-
asking?
Some weird yeses and nos.
Some weird relationship stuff that I was asking it, like yes and no type questions.
Does she love me?
No.
Does
Is
she
that like
love
that
me
scene in
not?
Shrek where she's
Yeah,
picking the-
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, it's just like
Pulling-
personal stuff that I
pulling
don't
petals
really
off a daisy.
overly want to talk about.
Oh.
You don't want to get deep into the fucking weeds of your
No.
your various relationships.
Yeah, because they've all worked out so fucking well.
Oh,
As the
Oh,
only
man.
single guy on the podcast, I'll go fuck myself.
man, you're gonna find yourself a nice
yeah.
princess someday, or maybe
One
a
day.
prince. Who's to say, dude?
nice-
Hey man, it's 2021.
It sure is.
A nice spooky lady.
So
A nice spooky person.
So yeah, no, it was kind of weird because it was more I was just doing it for fun.
Right.
It was kind of like your questions of like, oh, will I find my true love? No, was the answer. Which is
Savage smackdown.
tough.
That's
Ghosts
no good.
are real dicks.
Why does the ghost know better than you do?
Yeah.
Whether it'll like, what does this ghost know? What kind of otherworldly
Man,
knowledge do they know
they're
about?
tapped into some
Are they
sort
telling
of
the fucking future
man.
too?
Ghosts just be tapped into some sort of matrix that we clearly aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Brad, I'm just picturing you in like the throes of a relationship depression. Just be like, why doesn't she love me? And the ghost just like smacks you down. And you're
Just
like,
getting whacked in the fucking nose with a crystal.
no. Oh.
But-
Oh man. So yeah, I played around with it a little bit. It's nothing like yeah, it was fun to do at the time, but
Sure.
at the same time it's like yeah,
Doodlebugging's
it's-
always fun.
Dude, doodlebugging is always fun.
Though I will say there could possibly be a chance that we could do a seance on film.
Okay.
That would be cool.
That
Yeah,
is
that'd
a,
be
that
cool.
is a very
Yeah.
real
Can we
possibility.
do that in the Pioneer Cemetery?
Might
I
be
mean,
neat.
it could be fun, but also I don't want to be robbed at knife point.
Right,
So
yeah,
there's
okay.
Yeah, the
that.
Pioneer Cemetery is in a really good part of town.
Oh yeah. I guess
we gotta find somewhere to do it.
I guess one other thing we could talk about quickly, in addition to like the doodlebugging, is like seances and like you know,
Yeah.
drawing pentagrams and chanting.
Just all
from
kinds of
books and-
medium shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's lots of things where supposedly the medium is channeling the spirits, and one of them is like ghost journaling.
Sure.
So what they do is get into a trance. Yeah, they get into a trance and they just start writing. And whatever comes to mind, they just write down.
Man, you wouldn't be able to read a goddamn thing.
No,
that
it
I
would
wrote.
be
It would just
nonsense.
be.
It would
just
be chicken
li-
scratch.
that literal scribbles.
They
Lot of practice, my dude.
I'm actually
Yeah.
literate, just so you know. No,
So-
I'm not. I'm kidding.
so it's
Man,
like,
you're doing for all the technical explanations of things that you've given us. You're doing pretty good as an
Yeah.
illiterate man.
as a man who claims he cannot read.
I
Very
cannot read or
impressive.
write. That was where I was going.
Very
I can't write.
impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, I can write just poorly.
Yeah.
It looks like hell.
Yeah.
That's why typing is available and wonderful.
Yeah, typing is fantastic.
We should explain the ideomotor effect.
Yes.
Yeah,
though.
we should.
I
So
will let you take
what
that
the
away.
ideomotor effect is, so the action of a Ouija board can most easily be explained by unconscious movements of those controlling the planchette. So basically, like, you know, you have how many people actually are supposed to touch it? 2 to 3, right?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I feel like the whole ideomotor thing is just cover for one person being a dick.
Probably.
Being like, ooh, look, it's moving on its own.
I think more than likely, especially considering the fact that on an episode of Penn and Teller's Bullshit, they had 3 like very deeply spiritual characters, we'll call them,
characters.
doing a Ouija board thing, and they fully believed in it. And
Yeah.
part of the experiment was that while they were doing it, they put a blindfold on these people, and they
Yeah.
agreed to have the blindfold put on their faces.
Sure.
What they didn't know is that Penn and Teller had flipped the Ouija board over and turned it around. So they're under the impression that they're still taking it to yes and no, but they're taking it to fucking nothing. Ultimately, they just know where yes and no are on the board.
Yeah.
And ultimately they're going to nothing.
Yeah.
At all. So it is very clearly nonsense.
Yeah,
it's fucking
it can
garbage.
be, for sure.
So
Like-
it is just like it's either suggestive in the sense that like, you know, you're unconsciously moving it in a way that it, you know, it goes to where you would want it to go, maybe subconsciously or consciously, or somebody's just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
A lot
feel
of
like
the
if I-
times I feel like it's the dickhead.
I feel like if we did that, like we would all just sit there with our hands on it and it would just not move.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Because we're just not like, isn't the entire point is you're not supposed to consciously move it?
No,
It
you're
just
not
moves
supposed
on
to
its
touch it at
own.
all. Like you're barely supposed to touch it.
We have to do it.
Yeah,
We
well,
have to do it.
absolutely.
At some point we will.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to be. Let's not do it anywhere where we need to
All right,
the-
I'll agree to those terms and
Yeah.
conditions.
Let's go to someone else's house.
We'll go to the board game cafe.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do
we can
that.
We can open a satanic portal in the
Dude,
board
let's
game cafe.
do it. Those nerds will never
they-
see it coming. They'll be
There's
so ticked, and we won't say goodbye either.
Yeah, no.
There's nothing a board game cafe in the midst of a pandemic needs any less than a fucking portal to hell. They're already having enough trouble.
Honestly, that sounds like a South Park
To
episode.
It
be
does.
completely honest, when you walk into there,
Saddam comes out with Satan.
it really does feel like a portal to hell. Like, I don't know if you've. I'm guessing you guys have perused some board game places before.
I've never been in a board game cafe, but
I've never
I
been to-
imagine if it's
Yeah.
anything like a video game cafe, it's a lot like hell.
Depressing. Depressing.
It was fine.
As much as I love video games, there's nothing I want to do less than go to a video game bar.
Yeah,
spend
I don't want to be around.
spend $8 on an overpriced beer and get some mediocre bar food while playing an Atari.
Man, I can just get.
And I've got an
mediocre
Atari
food.
right here. I don't need to do that.
Exactly.
I can just like get a ROM on my computer.
Man, you
Yeah.
don't want
Play
no, you
emulators.
want the real boy.
Nah, I don't need the real boy.
Spencer's
You're
going
right.
to tell you why you need a CRT TV to
No,
play Mario.
I
No.
just gave one away. I don't need another one.
You don't need a backbreaker?
No, I don't.
Man, you need a backbreaker.
I really don't. I had to move that thing, and it was a small one. It was like maybe 27 inches.
Dude, they're fucking pigs.
Dog.
Yeah, dude, so
The
funny
thing
story.
was like 80 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
It made no sense.
With my job, we do like data removal for
Yeah.
people, and we had a doctor who had an ancient EMAC. You know, the like CRT EMAC.
The
where
thick-
everything
They're
was, like-
really cool looking.
Yeah, they're really
the
cool looking, but
thickies.
they're super heavy. And we like somebody. Had,
Oh, is that what the computer was?
Yeah.
That you had to destroy that
Yeah.
hard drive off of?
Yeah,
Man, I
so-
love those fucking emacs.
Yeah, they was cool looking, but it didn't work anymore. It was definitely destroyed, and somebody had tried to get into it previously without the right security driver and
Oh,
had just
really?
stripped the crap out of the screws, and you had to go through like 4 or 5 different layers. This thing was like a car engine. Like you have to strip layers off of it to get at the hard drive, and this hard drive had medical records on it that needed to be destroyed. So I just took it out to this ancient gravel pit by this town that I used to know, and I just
Allegedly!
I
Allegedly!
just shot it up with the SKS. So
Allegedly, because
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's fine. It's in the middle of goddamn
Oh,
nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah,
We're talking about the legality of owning such a weapon.
It's
No,
very,
no,
it's
that
very
one's-
legal.
that one's
That
legal.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very legal.
Yeah,
Okay.
we also live in Saskatchewan. Despite
Yeah.
the fact that we're total dorks, there's still some red on our necks.
Oh yes.
Some
so
more than
yeah.
others. I do have a dirt bike, so
So I
that
did
is a
take
thing.
I did take my legally purchased and non-restricted SKS out to the middle of nowhere on Crown land, which is legal, and we just shot up this computer, which then I removed. So it was all legal. But yeah, that was my fun little story about.
I'm very upset
Both
because
CRT TVs.
when I heard about it, I had just woken up from a nap and we had family coming over for supper.
yeah.
I was just like,
That sucks. Unfortunately, like I was gonna do it another day, but then my friend Braden was like, "Yes, let's go do this," and I was like, "Well, we're gonna have to do it like right away because it gets dark soon."
And he was game, I'm sure.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
I would have been game.
Yeah,
I should,
well-
if I had been up about 20 minutes earlier, I would have just said fudge it and gone.
It'll probably happen again. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's happened before, it'll happen again.
We one of the things we do with our business is hard drive destruction, and that literally means just like destroying the hard drive.
Yeah, you have to. You have
yeah,
to.
you
It's
have
the
to
only way you
destroy
can
we
get
should
rid
get
of the
some
data.
thermite.
So it's funny you should say that. So you can buy tannerite at the store. Which
Tannerite, that's what I
yes.
mean, not thermite.
Thermite, you can make thermite.
You can
Yeah,
buy.
it's
What
just-
can you buy of tannerite to kill? Yeah, we're now getting into explosives. This is.
Do ghosts be explosive?
The answer is probably not.
Probably not.
This is the Anarchist Cookbook podcast.
Yeah.
You can buy a kilogram of tannerite a day, I think.
Yeah, and it goes boom.
It
so,
does.
So every now and then we have to just take like sledgehammers to these hard drives. And Dustin was like, "Why don't you just shoot them?" So one day we're just gonna set up like 35 hard drives that need to be destroyed, and we're just gonna put holes in them with guns.
That sounds like a much better idea than just using sledgehammers.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like-
better data destruction and things that go bang.
You
can't
know
go
what
wrong.
though? I will say.
I feel like it's more dramatic data destruction. I
Oh,
don't know
yes.
if any of it's any better. I think a drill through the hard drive would do the exact same thing, but it's certainly more
Yeah.
fun to shoot
It
it.
takes a long time.
To be fair though, can we please do a montage like Office Space of me just dummying hard drives with a
With a
I
baseball
will-
With the
bat.
weapon.
I will bring my own sledgehammer.
Okay.
That sounds like
good to me.
so much fun.
That sounds good to me.
Well, we'll give you some bullets to hit with the
Yeah.
sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's right.
We won't be doing that. that won't be happening. Anyway, should we get back into? We have one more.
Yes, one more very important.
So we
void to
talked
talk
about the pseudoscience tech stuff. We talked about the woo-woo stuff, but we didn't talk about the mad inventor stuff. There is one very fun product that we're very big fans of, and we would be eternally grateful to any of our fans if they purchased for us. I think it's presently, what's the price? It's $300 and something.
It's too. Let's be honest here. It's too much.
It's ludicrously expensive. So initially for the price, it was initially $455. It's presently on sale for 328 Canadian dollars.
Probably
from
steal.
our from what's our new sponsor?
GhostStop.com.
From GhostStop.com, and they are the proprietor of this website. Also invented this product. It is called the Boo Buddy, and it's like a Build-A-Bear looking teddy bear that has an EMF detector in it. It has a thermometer. What the fuck else is in
it's
it?
got like a, it's got a like a voice recorder.
I've got the features right here. Boo Buddy is a cute, interactive ghost hunting bear. Detects EMF and responds with lights in the arms when spikes arise. Detects movement, vibration, and temperature and responds with sweet little voice. Brr, it's cold in here.
Oh my god.
It's the voice is probably the most
Yeah, I
horrifying
think that's
thing.
the terrifying part is they
Yeah.
just use a child's voice.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
I hate it.
But it conducts baseline readings in the room. When you turn the
Yeah.
unit on, the first 30 seconds, it asks a series of EV. I don't think it actually has a recorder in it, but it like asks questions perpetually.
Okay.
So that you're supposed to be able to use your recorder in
Right.
conjunction with it.
And I think the idea is you can like leave it alone. In
That
a
is
space.
that is the idea.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to stir some shit up.
That's just what you want.
Man,
That's just you want a bear with a child's voice to communicate with the devil.
It's tickle me spooky,
Oh my
honestly.
God.
you know what? Our fans, if they do respect and love us,
They'll buy us this
will
fucking
buy us
bear,
this
dude.
bear.
You will buy us the bear.
And okay, while we're making demands of our wonderful fans,
want the
we
laser
gotta
grid.
we gotta get the laser grid. I need to build a Bond villain-esque
Can we
vault.
modify the bear, take out one of the eyes, and put
And
the
then
laser
put the laser
grid
grid
in
in the
there?
damn bear.
We can
God.
make it
Yeah.
a Terminator.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a possibility.
GhostStop.com. Put the grid in
Yeah.
the bear. You're really
Yeah.
missing out on a cool opportunity here. And we do grasp that the bear will then cost probably $700.
$700. Yeah.
But we'd like to see that.
But we want it.
I can't tell you how much I love GhostStop.com. Like that's so great.
As our new sponsor, I gotta say, they have a lot of neat stuff.
They do have some
that you
neat
should
stuff.
definitely spend your entire paycheck on.
Yes.
Oh,
Or you could send your paycheck to patreon.com/DoGhostBeReal.
absolutely.
Because we need to buy some tannerite.
Because that
apparently.
exists. Yeah, we need to buy a fucking spooky ghost hunting bear. We need to buy some explosives. I mean, we could probably better our
you know what?
lives
We're going
too.
to-
but
we're going to war
Brett
against the
needs
ghosts.
treats, so most important.
Brett wants Swedish berries, but he wants the old Swedish
I want
berries.
the old ones.
I just want some Nashville hot chicken sandwiches from Popeyes.
Man, rest in peace, the fucking Nashville hot chicken sandwich from Burger King.
Yeah.
That was
I didn't try it.
Tragic,
because
dude.
Happy
Burger,
birthday in heaven.
Because
Yeah.
Burger King is the lowest tier of fast food.
It is, but that fucking sandwich, dude.
I-
But also, I'm on some new chicken now. I'm 100% on. Are you familiar with? We just got a Mary Brown's chicken in town.
I might go there after this.
They're
I've
an-
I'm literally thinking.
They're an
about driving
Atlantic
there.
Canadian chicken chain, and it fucking rocks. Get the spicy Big Mary. And I'm coming out here and saying it. There's no way for anyone to test it now because the BK Nashville hot chicken sandwich is gone. But it's better than the BK Nashville hot
Okay.
chicken sandwich. And it's better than the Popeyes chicken sandwich that
That's saying
everybody was
something.
fighting each other about. And it's also better than every KFC chicken
Yeah, okay,
sandwich.
that's saying
It is
something.
the best fast food chicken sandwich you will get. You need to try.
All right, okay.
You know
I'll
what?
try it.
Honestly, though, on that
Popeyes
note,
is
guys,
pretty good.
we should do our socials and get the fuck out of here
Absolutely.
so I can get one
Get
of
some
those
chicken.
sandwiches. I really want one. I've been wanting
Man,
one
you
for
need
like
a,
2 weeks.
I have been prior to today, I've been 2 fucking days in a row, so I'm not gonna join you fellas, but I do fucking hope that you enjoy the shit out of it. I can't be doing chicken 3 days in a row. I've had the chicken 4 times in the past 7 days.
That's like-
man, that's upsetting.
Okay,
Man, it's
go
fucking delicious.
You gotta go to Mary Brown's Chicken so often they send you a Christmas card.
Man,
that happened to me. This is shameful. Like, I'm ashamed to admit that
Who sent you a Christmas card?
my friends and I ordered Domino's so much that they sent me a fucking Christmas
Dude.
card.
Pizza Hut by my place knows me by name
Oh wow.
from when I used to order way back in
Man,
the day.
I love Pizza Hut candy pizza.
I've never fucked with it.
What? No, I mean, no, not that. Not like I just call Pizza Hut candy pizza.
Why do you
what?
call it candy
Man, because
pizza?
it's
it's-
got
because
dude,
it's
they
fried.
fucking paint
It's
it with fucking oil. It's
literally
basically
fr-
fried.
It's literally
Yeah.
fried. Yeah.
That's why it's candy pizza, dude.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I
was
should have
like, why-
specified that a little
I'm
bit.
calling it candy
I
pizza.
fucking love Pizza Hut. but
It's so expensive.
it's so expensive and
Doggy.
it's so bad for you.
always,
horrendous.
always get the hand tossed crust.
I always just get.
Man, I like the
stuffed.
original.
Yeah, I
I
don't
can't-
know.
Original
I can't
with
do the
stuff.
original.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can't do the original. It's
I've-
just like oil.
I
You're
gotta be.
fucking wrong about that.
I gotta
dude.
be
I'm on
honest.
the wrong side of history. I know.
I gotta be
I
honest.
know.
I don't get enough Pizza Hut to know what the difference is. I just get.
I don't
just-
think
I
I've
just
ever
get-
had the
I
other
just
one.
get pizza.
Oh, the hand tossed is literally how they do normal pizza.
Okay.
where they
Well,
just
that's the one
hand
I've
toss
had
the
then.
crust.
where
sh-
it's
we
cooked
should-
in a pan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hand pizza.
We should
yeah.
just honestly do. We should be doing a Fat Boy fucking podcast.
I would have something to talk about.
Man, we could go so deep on all kinds of fucking food.
All right, well, you heard it here first on the Do Go Surreal podcast network. Coming up, the fast food hour.
Dude, do snacks be real?
That's be real.
And the answer is yes.
They sure do,
Based
dude.
on the
They
amount
do.
of weight I've gained in the last month, yes, they are real.
Yeah. Oh, I can relate.
Man, I think I'm finally not wet anymore. I was so sweaty for all of this podcast. I'd taken a shower, so I was wet, and now
God.
this is the probably maybe like 10 minutes ago I stopped glistening.
the sheen has dissipated.
I like it. I like it.
Man, so what are the socials? Hit us with
Oh
it.
man, the socials are Instagram. Just look up "Do Ghosts Be Real" podcast.
It works.
It works.
It does, dude.
It's easy.
Hey.
Our TikTok at Do Ghosts Be Real podcast. And our email at doghostsbereal@gmail.com. Please send
Do
us
ghost be
email.
real at gmail.com.
Oh, my bad.
No at.
And
I'm sorry. You said it right. You just said at in front of it.
and,
my bad.
And check out our sponsor, ghoststop.com.
Yeah, not actually our sponsor. Please
Yeah.
don't sue us for anything mean we said about you. We do
Not
love you
actually.
guys. Please do actually sponsor
Yeah.
us.
That would be very fun.
I'm just gonna keep saying we're sponsored by them because one day it's gonna happen.
I like
But-
that.
But just
We're gonna manifest it.
exactly. But just for the people watching and or listening, no, we're not actually sponsored
We're not
by
actually
ghoststop.com.
sponsored.
But I'm gonna keep
We
the
hope to
bit
be.
going forever.
We're manifesting it. We're
so
scrying it
This-
into existence.
This episode is called "This Episode Brought to You by ghoststop.com."
Yes,
I like
will
that.
be naming it that, just so you're aware.
Hell yeah, dude.
In any case, it's been fun. Have
Yep.
a great week. We'll see you next week.
We're gonna go get some chicken.
Hell yeah.